Welcome to the world of Weider Sporting Goods and the X10MW Powerguide Home Gym System. Developed for personal fitness training on all levels, the X10MW provides a full-body workout through multi-station training. This video is designed as a supplement to the instruction manual provided with your new home gym. Please refer to your manual for complete details on how to assemble the Weider X10MW. To avoid losing small parts while unpacking, we suggest that you remove and unwrap one part at a time and discard the paper wrapping into the lid of the box. Do not discard packing material until the gym is completely assembled. If you're missing a part, it may have become mixed up with the wrapping paper. Lay each unwrapped part to the side so you can easily see and identify it as you do your assembly. Arranging the parts into similar groups and sizes will also help with identification. Your home gym will take approximately 4 hours to build, using only the required tools and following each step in the manual carefully. A combination of 1/2 inch, 9/16 inch, and 1/4 inch wrenches, or 2 adjustable wrenches, will be needed, as well as a screwdriver and a rubber-tipped hammer. Common household oil and lubricants, such as WD-40, will be needed for continual maintenance of the pulleys, cables, and other movable parts. The hardware for each of the steps are bagged and marked for easier identification and should remain sealed until needed. The manual is provided to help you understand the simple assembly, adjustments, and use of the home gym. It's important that you read carefully the Read Me First inserts for any amendments. In addition to assembly instructions, it also contains maintenance tips and parts information. To begin, it's suggested that you place all plastic end caps and covers onto the metal base before bolting them together. Use the hammer to seat them securely. Assemble the stepper base to the side of the main base with flat washers, hex head bolts, and lock nuts. Then, tighten securely. Place the rubber bumpers back to back and attach them to the main and stepper base using self-tapping screws. Place the carriage bolts through the bottom of the main base and the bolt hole location in the stepper base nearest the main base. With the open channel in the guide rod facing to the front of the unit, set the guide rod onto the carriage bolts. Once in place, fasten the guide rod to the base with the lock nuts provided. and secure using a wrench. To the main base and stepper base, insert the carriage bolts, which will be needed later. Using common household oil applied to a clean cloth, lubricate the guide rod both on the inside and out. Then, working with only one plate at a time, stack only 9 weight plates onto the guide rod with the pinning slot in the plate facing the floor and to the front. With the flat side facing in, assemble the guide wheel onto the welded roller axles at both the top and bottom of the weight selector tubes. Place the final weight plate onto the tube and orient so that the pinning slot is located on the same side as the steel rod pin. Then, insert the carriage bolt into the top of the selector tube. Be sure that the bolt end is extended out in the same direction as the steel rod pin. Slide the assembled selector tube onto the top of the guide rod with the bolt end extending out through the channel. Slide the tube down the guide rod. The lat cable has a large rubber ball with a loop on one end and a loop on the other. Assemble a metal bushing onto the carriage bolt, followed by the angle plate bracket. Insert one loop end of the lat cable onto the bolt and tighten securely. The main upright assembly will provide support for the X10MW. Straddle the welded brackets on the upright over the guide rod and the bolts at the main base. Using the carriage bolts inserted through the bottom of the main base, attach the bottom of the main upright to the main base. Secure with lock nuts and tighten firmly with a wrench. Bolt the welded brackets of the upright to the guide rod and secure with a wrench. To mount the stepper frame, place the frame onto the carriage bolt up through the stepper base from the bottom and the upper U-bracket of the stepper frame around the guide rod. With the plastic bumpers attached to the top of the wings, secure the dip support bracket to the inside of the guide rod with the hex head bolts and lock nuts. Secure the bottom of the stepper frame with the lock nuts, then tighten the entire unit with a wrench. To ease assembly, it's suggested that you first attach the plastic pedal tread to the stepper pedals. Then, as with the main frame, begin the stepper assembly by inserting the square plastic pivot bushings into the pedals with the hammer. Slide a resistance cylinder over its pivot tube and secure in place with a retaining ring and cap. The resistance cylinder should be able to swing freely once mounted. Orient the pedal with the series of holes in the pedal to the inside and slide the pedals into the pivot tube attached to the stepper frame. Using easy but firm strokes, hammer the pedal into place. Secure the pedal with a spring retainer and end cap. Insert the bolt on the cylinder mounting bracket into a hole on the stepper pedal and secure with a flat washer and the female knob. To the bottom end of the cylinder, attach the mounting bracket with a hex head bolt and lock nut. Then tighten enough to allow free movement. With the end caps in place, attach the dip arm to the welded bracket located on the upper main upright post. Orient the dip arm so that the pre-assembled pulley is to the bottom. The arm should also rest on top of the dip support bracket. Then secure with hex head bolts and lock nuts. Fasten the handles to the arms with a knob pin and bushing combination placed into the welded nut in the arm. Place the arm pads to the arm and attach with round head machine screws. Do the same with the backrest. The first part of the arm press is the pivot frame. Assemble the half-round pivot bushing onto the frame, then position the second bushing around the tube. Assemble the arm press pivot frame over the top end of the top frame and seat it onto the L-shaped welded bracket. Place the arm press cap on top of the pivot bushing and push the lat bar plastic holder into place directly behind the lip of the L bracket. Align the bolt holes and screw into place. Once the pivot frame is secured to the top mast, lubricate the posts with household oil and insert the long bolt into the hole behind the pivot frame. Assemble the peck arms to the pivot frame by pressing the arms onto the pivot frame. Secure the arms with retainer rings and a cover cap. To ease assembly, apply a small amount of liquid dishwashing detergent to the arm and foam pad. Slide the foam rollers onto the peck arm and attach the arm press handles. Orient the seat frame so that the end of the tube turns upward. Fit the bracket around the upright and secure with a carriage bolt and female knob. After attaching the seat brackets and carriage bolts to the bottom of the seat, fit the seat onto the seat frame and attach with washers and lock nuts. Bolt the leg extension to the hole location at the end of the seat frame. Insert one pad bar assembly through the seat frame and the other into the access hole at the front of the leg extension. Attach the backrest to the upright with bolts and flat washers from the back. To route the lat cable, return to the weight stack assembly. Bring the cable up to pulley D, assembled beneath the dip arm. Some of the assemblies have been done at the factory for your convenience. You may need to loosen them slightly or remove them to position the cable. Assemble the cable into the pulley and tighten the assembly. Loop the cable down between the main upright and guide rod and insert into pulley C of the dual pulley system. Finger tighten the assembly. Take the cable back up to pulley B on the side of the dip arm and fit into the pulley. It's important that the trap brackets are positioned according to the clock diagrams in the manual. When properly tightened, the cable trap bracket will not rotate. Bring the cable forward between the arm press pivot frame to pulley A at the top of the main upright. Remove the pulley and fit the cable under the welded trap bracket, then tighten the assembly. Remember to tighten all the pulleys once the cable is in place. Before routing the lower pulley cable, attach the pre-assembled pulleys to the back of the arm press arms. They should be tight, but allow for free movement. The lower pulley cable is easily identified by a rubber ball and metal washer with an adjusting ferrule on one end of the cable. Begin at the front left side of the main base by inserting the cable into pulley E, followed by a flat washer, metal bushing, and hex bolt. Remember, with continued use, lubricate the pulleys and cables of the X10MW. Bring the cable upward, remove pulley F from the dual pulley connector plate, and loop over pulley F. Reassemble the plate and take the cable back down to pulley G at the base of the main upright. Insert the cable under pulley G and adjust the trap bracket according to the diagram in the assembly manual. Then securely tighten the pulley. From there, take the cable up to pulley H at the top of the main upright. Lace up and over this pulley and travel forward to pulley J at the back of the left arm press arm. Fit into the pulley and set the trap bracket. Bring the cable back around behind the front upright and fit into pulley K. Then forward over pulley L on the right arm press arm. Attach the cable loop onto the end bracket. Tighten securely, but leave enough gap so that the cable can rotate on the bolt. Slide the stopper ball and adjusting ferrule tightly against the low pulley and set the screw, and attach the linking chain to the gym. Remember, with continued use, add tension to the cable by adjusting the ferrule. Finish the assembly by adding the locking pin to the weight stack. The lat bar and locking pins to the arm press. And decals to the gym as specified in your manual. The X10MW provides a variety of exercises with its multi-station setup. The ab arm station allows for bench press, butterfly, and other upper body workouts. The stepper strengthens and tones the leg, calf, and gluteal muscles. The lat pull-down bar can be used either low or high for upper body and arm strengthening. From arm curls to leg raises, your home gym allows you to work out alone or with a partner. Used properly, the X10MW will help you to build and sculpt a stronger, more healthy body. But before beginning this or any other exercise program, consult your physician. Then review the conditioning guidelines section in your instruction manual to help you plan and regulate your personal fitness program. The X10MW Powerguide Home Gym System. Another fine fitness product from the world of Weider.